Lissa Kreisler. You already know that, right? Season 4 of Community Storytelling, so of course you already know my name. And we're just so thrilled to be back this season. Linda Lee Leicester, our magnificent sponsor, thank you so very much. And just so you're at ease, I want you to know that I am fully vaccinated, have been for quite some time. My guests are fully vaccinated, so we feel fine, and we want you to feel fine too, watching us saying, oh no, what are they doing? We don't want you to have to worry about any of that. And I have two wonderful men here today who are brothers. And this is a story about brotherly love like I don't think I've ever seen or heard before. And the greatness that it has done for them and that it has done for others. It's an amazing story. So let me introduce you to my new friends. We have Stanford Stickney. And Stanford, should I call you Stan or Stanford?
However you prefer.
But you did tell me earlier you're going to Stanford next year.
Yes.
So maybe we should call you Stanford. Get you used to that. Stanford Stickney and his younger brother by 3 years, Daniel.
Yeah.
Welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Now, it's funny, I do these interviews and I always know exactly where to start, but in your case, I don't. So I think we're going to start at the very beginning, and you're going to tell me about your brother and how you became his best friend.
Well, we live in the same house.
Okay, so a little more to that story.
We live in the same house. My dad is the single parent.
Uh-huh. And how many children are there?
We're about
There's 4 of us
four.
total.
4, okay. The 2 of you and 2 sisters, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Stanford, are you the oldest?
No, our eldest sister is named Dora.
Okay, and the youngest is?
Kiara.
And Daniel and Kiara are twins.
And Daniel, okay. Well, then I know how old Kiara is because I know how old you are, 27. Daniel was born with cerebral palsy. And
Cortical visual impairment.
now that I have never heard of, so why don't you explain to me what that is?
Cortical visual impairment is you can see in your left eye or your right eye.
There's a sliver. Continue, please.
Sliver out of your left eye out of depending on what day it is.
Really?
Yeah.
So the light has something to do with it?
Well, and it's akin to turning a light switch on and off.
All right.
So you can see, you can't. See, you
See,
can't.
cat.
And Daniel has done an amazing job. He's a go-getter. You want to do something? Let's do it. It's never a question of why, but rather why not.
Why not?
Our father has raised us in an environment of unconditional love. He has dedicated his life to the proposition that everyone can follow their dreams and wear their heart on their sleeve. Nothing but kudos to him. He has taken care of our grandmother, young 100, and doing that while raising us.
And you were all raised in Los Gatos.
Born and raised.
Right.
Daniel went to the competing school, Saratoga.
Well, ooh.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a more inclusive and loving environment. Amazing educators just at Los Gatos. And if I may, I would hope to briefly just talk about the community and what a privilege it has been to grow up here.
Please do. I just moved to Los Gatos a couple years ago, right before the pandemic hit, actually. And I've lived in San Jose almost all my life. But there's nothing like Los Gatos. It is a town in itself. And Montecito, too. Such wonderful, caring communities.
I would concur with that very much. You know, we look at one of our neighbors we call the Italian. Who's the Italian? I call him Uncle Dewey, Dueno Giordano. He served as a police officer in the town of Los Gatos. On his time off, since he's retired, he goes and volunteers for the Red Cross.
What is amazing is, and I saw it from the moment you walked in with your brother and you wheeled him in, the love between you. Now, let's be honest. You were 3 years older than your brother. Your brother was born with differences. And you started taking care of your brother immediately.
Well, kudos all goes to my father for creating this environment of unconditional love. We live up in the mountains, and I remember we had a mudslide. And there's a photo of Daniel, Kiara, and myself, and we're pulling Daniel up with a rope. And so we all do things together, and it's a unit. It's a team approach. Dad took Daniel to a facility in Poland called Urmed, and they used a exoskeleton suit called an Adeli suit. And bottom line is that many children who were deemed by Western medicine to not walk learned how to walk, or built the strength to be able to do things, to be more independent in life. And that is the framework within which we've been raised, and it has been a privilege.
Well, let's start with what you have done for your brother that has led to great things for others as well.
Well, and the truth of the matter is, it is these incredibly kind souls that are taking their time out of the amazing things they're doing in life to pursue the proposition that we can make the world a better place through technology. And if nothing comes from the collaboration, at the very least it was done through love and the exploration of what could be.
Because you did not have any technological training, did you? I mean, you're just now going to Stanford. I mean, where did you learn to do all the things that you're going to tell us about?
I must just with love reiterate, there are these kind souls that have taken their time to work not only with Daniel but other amazing souls to create things to improve the quality of one's life. And it's just been a privilege to play a small part in assisting.
So, okay, what do you think of this guy?
It's very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, but he's been there from the very day.
As all of the family members.
Yeah, as all the family members. But yeah, he is my driver. He's never told me to give up, so
I'm thinking he's your hero.
yeah.
And I'm thinking you're his hero.
Yeah.
And
So-
our father.
And your father, of course, of course. So now tell me, I know that living with Daniel, you decided that your place in life, I guess, is to make life more accessible for those who need help.
Well, I think it's also important just to share a little background.
Please.
When I was 19, I got sick with
chronic fatigue.
chronic fatigue, myalgic encephalitis.
Wow.
And there was a period I was confined to a bed for about a year. And I had to build up. Doing the most mundane task would leave you exhausted.
You had to get your stamina back, yeah.
And it's taken about a decade. And
Really?
one of the things that was so beneficial, in addition to the incredible love and support at home, was being able to do little projects with Daniel and others, and it was stimulating and it was meaningful, and it just evolved.
And it evolved into what? Tell us some of the things that you've come up with.
Not but other amazing souls, please.
I know, but right now I'm interviewing you. I'm giving you the credit. So I know you've had help along the way, but tell us about some of these amazing innovations and inventions you've come up with.
Well,
Certainly a team approach, very much so. Daniel, is there anything you'd like to share?
I worked with Google. Google made a video about me.
Really?
It was supposed to be internal for engineers, but instead of internal, we're on the internet.
If I may share just a brief story.
Please.
Yeah.
When I was home at 19, we went to the Vista Center, which is a side note. They're a visually impaired organization, excellent organization. They have a fundraiser coming up on the 6th, and if anyone's interested, by all means. And the last presenter was a person from Google named Charles Chen, and we started a dialogue. And from that, he invited us over to Google. And then we were introduced to a very kind soul named Astrid Weber.
Mm-hmm.
And we would collaborate in different avenues of what could be made to help improve the quality of life of others. And there was an opportunity with Astrid Weber, Will Moran, and other amazing souls to document, so it would be internal in-house at Google, what are some of the challenges or opportunities to create assistive technology. And from that, the video, and there was one of 6 videos that were so well received that Google.org decided to make disabilities their nonprofit challenge, and they donated $20 million to the unconventional space and different disability research and education.
And I forget, what is the name of the project? Has a name.
Well, later we were introduced to very wonderful souls, Anupam Pathak and John Redmond. And Anupam while he was in grad school, designed a spoon, a self-leveling spoon for people with Parkinson's and other fine motor impairments. And Anupam's project was taken and made into a product for everyone to be able to use that had fine motor impairments. And we played a small role in being able to test and see how we could make the spoon better to help everyone eat and have independence. You don't think about it, but eating is such a fundamental right to be able to do it independently. And so we were able to assist, and happy to say that product is out helping lives.
Amazing, amazing. What else have we come up with? What other amazing things?
Well, we were very fortunate. In 2015, we hosted a make-a-thon in our home. Oh, make-a-thon, what does that mean? That means you have different engineers, different creative minds come together, and they were college students, and they lived with us for a week. And we transformed our living room into a laboratory. 3D printers, soldering equipment, everything you can think of. And there was amazing souls, Tomas Vega, Stephanie Valencia, Pierre, Kelly Pang, Oscar Segovia, and then later who joined was an amazing soul, Corton Singer. I'd like to point out that all these different folks, many of them have gone off and graduated from outstanding universities or going into higher education and working on technologies that can improve and uplift the human condition. And through that process, we came up with an edge detection wheelchair. And I'd like to point out, well, think about it. You have ledge right here, and let's say you're visually impaired, and all of a sudden, you're off the ledge. My gosh, we sent men to the moon and brought them back safely. I'm sure we can make something that has basic safety mechanisms. Cars do. And so we worked on something that would have sensors and it would alert a user if they're coming near a ledge. And happy to report that there's an amazing organization called Enable Tech. And there's a group of students right now led by their fearless leader, Drew. And they're working on iterations. And there's been wonderful teams prior to that. So you take sensors and that'll alert you if there's a detection or danger. But what if your seat vibrated too? What if you could have spatial awareness through where you're sitting? So if something is in the front, your front vibrates. If the danger's in the back, your back vibrates. Because if you think about it, if you have an audio sound put, you don't know where that issue is, right? Unless you have different sounds, here, beep, different. So that's just another small example. There is an excellent organization, class and lab at Stanford, hosted by Professor Dave Jaffe. And we've had the privilege of working with probably half a dozen students. And these students are incredible. Amanda, I think Skropolopis, I apologize for mispronouncing your name. We asked her one time if she would assist Daniel, and out of her own time, she worked on a voice-controlled bed. You use Alexa, you're in bed. That's amazing. And Daniel is creating things that help improve not only Daniel's quality of life, but so many others. Right now we have the privilege of working with 2 Stanford students, and we're exploring different ways to do assistive technology. And I cannot iterate enough how kind these souls are to take their time to improve the quality of life of others.
I almost want to say, who are you? I'm listening to you. You are not a typical young man in his 20s. The way you talk, your knowledge, and have you been to college yet?
Yes.
So where did you go to school?
Cal.
Okay, now that explains a little bit of it, because really, you are so amazing. I almost feel like I'm sitting at a sermon or something, and I expect you to hop up any second. But it's just amazing. I mean, what are your dinners like?
Dad
what are
makes
your dinner
these
conversations
incredible
like?
meals. He whips them up, Epicurean delights.
I'm not done with you. You know what? We're going to take a walk over to Leicester Square right now, and then we're going to come back to these 2 fabulous brothers, Stanford and Daniel Stickney. Come along with us. Hi, it's Lissa Kreisler. I'm at Leicester Square right here at the corner of Blossom Hill Road and Los Gatos Boulevard. A lot of fun things to do. Ken!
Lisa,
I didn't
so
even
nice to see you.
finish my sentence. I'm so surprised to see you. What are you doing here?
Well, we live close by, and we're taking Rocky to the vet today.
So do you have time for a cup of coffee at Phil's with me afterwards?
Sure. Is it your treat or mine?
It's definitely your treat.
And Rocky's coming too.
Good with me. I am so glad to run into you at Leicester Square. It's one of my favorite places.
It's one of my favorite places too, and we've been to Varenza and Super Duper and Phil's, and we love going here.
And so you know where I live, I have no flowers, so I come here to Leicester Square to enjoy all the flowers. They're gorgeous. So the motto here that Linda Leicester coined is meet me at the square, or meet us at the square, or meet your besties at the square. I meet everybody at the square. It's Leicester Square in Los Gatos.
Come on by, and cheers.
Yes. Well, welcome back to Community Storytelling. I'm Lissa Kreisler, and my amazing guest, Daniel Stickney, his older brother by 3 years, Stanford Stickney. And we're just talking about accessibility and brotherly love. I mean, I'm just really taken by this brotherly love. I mean, how often are you two together?
Every day.
So are you his main caretaker, so to speak?
I would like to think that he takes care of me.
I think you might be right, but I don't know. I think it's a pretty good team. I think it's a pretty good team. Do you ever get mad at each other? Come on, tell the truth here.
Yes.
Yeah, what bothers you about Stanford? Come on.
He tells me what to do sometimes.
Yes. Heck. And okay.
Daniel's perfect, as Kiara is. It's just a privilege. If I could just brag about Daniel, would you please share about San Andreas Regional Center, Cal
yeah.
Tash,
Okay.
West Valley?
All right.
Let's talk about all you've accomplished,
All right.
Daniel.
So,
All these things.
as my career went on, I was honored, privileged to be a West Valley senator. So I was able to go to Senate meetings every Tuesday night at 6 at West Valley.
Do you remember the name of the senator?
Oh, Daniel is the senator at West Valley.
Oh, you're the senator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I bow to you. All right.
Because of COVID, we're not doing meeting right now. But we're taking breaks right now. We are on the website of westvalley.com.edu.
What about San Andreas?
San Andreas is
San Andreas Regional Center.
San Andreas Regional Center. I have honored, privileged to working with amazing souls in the San Andreas office.
For those that are not familiar, San Andreas Regional Center.
San Andreas.
Excuse me. Thank you. She keeps me on my toes.
Okay, there we go.
The better half.
I knew I'd see a little bit
Daniel,
of this.
would you please share a little bit about San Andreas?
It's an organization funds campgrounds when they're open. It's a real wonderful.
It is.
And
it changes lives.
Yes. Daniel's plays a part of that as board of directors. Tell us about Camp Cram.
It's really wonderful. I went, and I'm Mr. Teddy Bear.
I can see that.
It's been very sad because Camp Cram has been blown down because of the fire. But there, I still keep a happy face in my daily life. But Camp Cram needs funding right now
To rebuild their camp
Yes.
after the fire.
to rebuild the camp. So if anybody's available, campcram.org.
That's wonderful. Thank you for saying that.
Cal Tash?
I'm going.
Am I going to have to referee here?
No. Caltash is a organization for people with disabilities that is wonderful, and we're out of California, and we are all over the state right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I have honored and privileged to go down to San Diego and do KCAT, meeting people from all different walks of life of KCAT. It has been wonderful. It has been glorious. It has been really wonderful to see people in different walks of life. I done my first KCAT conference was run by West Valley College. They found my teacher Ben Lamosa is also Carlos now. He'd been part of this program for 16 years.
Wow.
And now I'm on the board, so
You're making me fatigued listening to all you do.
Next week, he's going to be meeting with legislators, advocacy programs.
next week I'm going to be doing Zoom with advocacy programs.
Amazing.
Both in capacity for advocating for San Andreas, as well as what CalTASH does.
Nice.
CalTASH has conferences where rather than recreate a
wheel.
product, exactly, you can
We-
learn from other
we-
users and educators,
And
and then do advocacy.
And I'm guessing you're at his side for all of this.
yes.
Pretty much? Yeah. Yeah.
And we get, my favorite part is obviously traveling up to Sacramento and San Diego. But yeah, we've been at hotels. We've been pretty much all over. I mean,
Well, nothing has stopped you, and that's wonderful.
nothing.
Do you
Nothing.
think, for a brief moment, we could do a couple shout-outs?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know, we're here at Los Gatos High School, and I can remember Persha. Persha was such an amazing soul. He would work with other young minds and sometimes wayward souls and give them love and TLC and do projects of beautifying Los Gatos and Los Gatos High School. You think of educators and leaders like Doug Ramazani. You think of Scott Downs, Robert Fowler, Mrs. Christie, Mr. Crochet, Mrs. Peters, so many, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith, different coaches from field hockey, Henry, to lacrosse, football, just these incredible support and love that allow students to flourish and grow. You know, we look at the police department with Chief Peter DeCena, and excuse me. And what
Not the chief anymore.
no, he is.
He is.
And what a great job he's done, and the amazing job that all the support staff and peace officers do on a daily basis for Los Gatos. You look back at Chief Seaman and the philosophy that if you worked with children and you created a camaraderie, that the child would see past the badge to the person. Officer 1L, Sam Quartz, leaders of love, Jamie Fields. There's so many good souls that are around here that uplift our community.
I think we need to add your name to that list. I think we need to. I think that the town needs to hire you for marketing and publicity. You're amazing. What is next for you? I mean, you said you're going to Stanford to do what?
Well, can I please do a couple more compliments, please? please.
Okay.
Yes, you may.
Steve Glickman, you look in the town and you see a photo, but you don't see that and he's rest his soul. He would work for Safe Ride, so children, if they had, God forbid, in high school drank, they'd have a safe avenue to go. The fire department, they've given Daniel a hat. In those times where you're tried and family members' health is on the line, they're there. Bruce Engel, he is retired. Bruce Engel is so amazing. God forbid, my father one time had an accident. Bruce stayed in the ambulance. He didn't have to. He chose to, and that's what this community is about.
And you're so right. And I'm sorry I cut you off. Are there any more?
Oh, there's a list. There's a list. It's the difference between a smile and a frown. And everyone here, it seems, genuinely cares about each other and uplifting through love.
And I think we really saw that during the pandemic, Black Lives Matter, the wildfires. I mean, we've gone through a lot the last couple of years, and we've really been a town that stuck together and looked after each other and was always ready to put a helping hand out.
Yes.
It's amazing. But you're in this group too. I mean, I'm truly amazed. The love and the patience you both have for each other. And your mission is not over. I mean, I think Daniel has actually brought out the best in you.
Thank you.
For what you're achieving. And I know you still have dreams. What are some more accessibility dreams that you have that you really feel we got to work on these things? We got to get them done.
Well, I believe that we're in a perfect place in an imperfect world, and we can use technology to uplift the human condition. Things as simple as sensors on a wheelchair to what does the future look like for robotic caregivers. These are things that will be happening in the next 10 years that could alter the way we live our lives and, in the final analysis, provide freedom. And freedom is dignity.
Say that again. Freedom is dignity. That is so true. That is so true, and you're going to make it happen.
Right across here, just as a side note, I have to do a couple more shout outs. Ed Burke used to have the club here. Oh my gosh, it created this wonderful community of love where people would spend time. You look at the diner with Rocky. There's so many kind souls there that create this community of love where people come because there's not only good food, but there is a camaraderie. Los Gatos Cafe. Remember C.B. Hannigan's? Chris Benson, John Hannigan? When the chips were down, 1989, the earthquake, they were out there serving food. No cost, no charge, just out there making it happen. And that's what Los Gatos is about.
How did you get to know all these people? I mean, some, of course, are a given. You went to Los Gatos High School. But the police chief, the Siemens family, I know. My daughter was in Girl Scout troop, with Laura, Scott's daughter, and I know his wife real well. I mean, I know how wonderful they are. But I mean, how did you know all of these people?
I would just suggest that it's because we have active civic participation from our leaders, and they have reached out to sculpt the next generation.
Oh my goodness. Again, who are you? You are such an old soul. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe I'm sitting here talking to.
Yep.
Are you 27? What did you tell me?
Daniel's 27.
And you're 30.
Yeah.
I mean, geez. I mean, you put me to shame. In fact, you've had to correct me a few times, and I'm a better person because of it. Absolutely wonderful. So how do we end this story? What are we going to say?
Daniel?
As my dad would say, the wind on a boat would be lift up for every other people.
And echoing what many of our family sayings, you may not be able to change the direction of the wind, but you can alter the sails.
Oh, that's how we're ending this episode of Community Storytelling. Did I not tell you that this was an amazing brother team? So amazing. I'm changed, and I wish the best of you. You had one more thing to say. Go ahead.
Sorry. Daniel, talk about Miss Junker. Oh, we promised in the English class. Sorry.
What I have a great teacher named Miss Junker at West Valley Mission. He's wonderful, and I really wanted to, they don't, they could do anything they want, but they can do they don't have to sit there on a computer all day and study,
And teach. And
teach
educate.
it with students. I think the teachers are wonderful at Mission College.
And everywhere, and through the Los Gatos Community District,
Yeah.
West Valley College. Thank you.
I have a feeling these two guys don't say a bad word about anybody. That's probably not even in their vocabulary. And we should have more people like you. Truly, it's been an honor for me to sit down with you two today. Community storytelling, it's wonderful. And as I always say, everybody has a story. So if you've got one, or you know somebody who has one and you want to be sitting right next to me, please go to kcat.org and nominate yourself, or your bestie, or a cousin. It's so easy to do. I want to sit and talk with you. So thank you for being with us today. I'm Lissa Kreisler, and you've been watching KCAT TV 15.